Hey everybody, and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program RP-0. We are way out by Jupiter, which is way down there. With the Assakaros 1, it is going to make a 21.6 meter per second correction here in just a couple of hours. One, to avoid an encounter with Callisto, and two, to put it on course for its first flyby of Ganymede, which is just through gravity assist. There's no other node here. Is going to reduce its orbit by like that much from here to here. So we may actually throw some retrograde burn during that encounter, just a little bit, see if we can't get that a little lower, and maybe next pass we can actually capture into orbit and start to try to land this thing. Super exciting. It was a first, so I'm really quite excited for all of this. We'll go ahead and open up our fuel tanks. We still got 3 kilometers per second in our transfer tank, and I don't know what the descent onto Ganymede's going to look like. I think this has like 1.6 kilometers per second, which by a rough guess was well more than enough. But, it might not be. And really, we could capture Ganymede single pass with the fuel we have in here, but then we'd be on just our lander. And, I'd like the insurance policy. And if maybe we can hit a biome, or, more than one biome, that would be awesome. So let's time warp and get a little closer to our node. It's a very, very tiny correction, but that was kind of the point, was to do as much of this with little tiny corrections and gravity assists to kind of learn the ropes of better gravity assisting. So I hope it's working out, but I guess we'll find out how accurate this burn is. Still 23 minutes to go. We can don't ramp it up too much there, buddy. We should have a Kerbal alarm clock that'll kick us out about a minute ahead, but I don't trust that. So I'm just going to try to do this manually. Yep, and here comes Kerbal alarm clock to kick us out. 1 minute 30 seconds. Let's go ahead and get angled in. Avionics is unlocked. That's fantastic. Where's our little nodey friend? There he is, right on retrograde. Perfect. I don't even know if we really actually need to light our AJ-10 for this. You do have infinite ignitions, correct? Okay, good. But we'll tell computer to hold the node because we want to be accurate with this. And then just start to push the thrusters. Yeah, we're gonna fire the engine. We're gonna wait a little while before we do. I don't want to be too early on this because that will just throw the whole thing off. Of course, we'll delete on close alarm. Thank you. Estimated time to burn not applicable. That's always fun. Let's just 6 seconds, it says. Okay, so we can wait a little bit. We can actually time warp, get this down to like 15 seconds. That's good. I'll edge our engine back in. Oh, that didn't take nearly as much time as I thought it would, considering the mass of this little guy. 4, 3, 2.5, ignition. Shut down. Let's try to bring this node back on track. 0.2 meters per second. 0.1. Still 0.1, but okay. Node done. Lock the tank so RCS doesn't go all wibble wobble on me. Excellent. Look at this. We're going to come from here. We're just going to do a gravity assist and then come out over here. That is awesome. Hooah, gravity assists. Alright, let me just add an alarm for our SOI change in 182 days. Give me a lead time of at least 3 hours so that we can set up our action groupings for radioing in some science. And let's focus view down here, see where we're coming across. Oh, okay, well that's not ideal, I guess. Okay, let's go back to the ship real quick and open up our thrusters, and we'll try to adjust this. Little less than ideal. Okay, why? Yep, let's go this way. Bingo. too far. There we go, 20 kilometers. Lock. Please tell me it stayed put. 74. That ain't, why is it moving? Okay, well, I guess it just can't quite figure it out. Because, yeah, there should be absolutely no energies acting on the craft. Fantastic. Add maneuver. Let's see what happens if we give it a 200 meter per second touch-up. Takes it from there to there. Wow. And we're already going from here to there. That's awesome. So let's ramp it up to 500. The gains aren't as great, yeah. Diminishing returns and whatnot. So we'll dial that back. Oh, nope. I meant to dial it this way. We'll just split the difference at 300 some odd meters per second. That gets us pretty low. And then we'll try to plot a maneuver here. Are we still... No, I don't want to set as target. Unset target. Set as target. Why aren't you giving me my alignment? Relative inclination .02. It's not telling me where, and so it's probably not going to tell me when my next encounter is. No big deal. Okay, well, still getting very exciting. So probably sometime in the next year or so, I figure next pass we'll probably go from here to here, and then one more pass, and we should be pretty much ready to capture at a nice budget Delta V figure or something. Right. So anyway, I guess we've got a few other things to catch up on, so we'll go take care of that. Alright, well, we are joining our crew at Harmonia Station in orbit of Mars, as they are still on mission here, but we're going to be making some updates and some changes to the station itself, and, well, basically we're going to be doing a little bit of prep work for that. This docking arm is not CLS compliant. Crew can't move through it, so it doesn't really do us any good other than supplies, and it's ugly. And other than a mount point for these two crates, it doesn't really serve much of a purpose other than holding this gargantuan supply pod in place. So when this pod is emptied out, everything from this docking port back is going to get deorbited and tossed in the trash. We have other pods just like this that are on the way or will be shipped out in future. They're really good at keeping things, the station, operational for very long periods of time. This crew's been here for quite a while, and this thing is nowhere near used up, and I just topped off all the tanks for the rest of the station. So that's like their total draw for this entire thing. Everything here on the Artemis is already topped off and locked because they're going to use that on the trip home. So they're not consuming supplies like we thought they would. Anyway, this habitat and the original station core, basically everything from this docking port down is going to be deorbited and replaced with a CLS compliant habitat and docking structure that we don't have to EVA to all the time. So basically today we're going to be scrapping some parts from our core, namely comms. We'll probably move solar panels and mounts. This large tank here is kind of like our primary holding for life support supplies. That will be staying. It's pretty simple, although we might replace it later. And basically we will dock supply pods down here. We're going to move a docking port up here, probably build a structure for multiple dockings in between it, and then habitat to go over here that will all be connected living space compliant and will work for all of those things, because hopefully all of our new missions will have that kind of compliance built in. So for right now, we're just going to leave our little I guess our Mars Ascent stage, our Deimos / Phobos mission lander that doesn't require any landing gear, docked here. We'll move it when it comes time to get rid of things. We don't have any place else to put it, really. So it's going to stay parked for right now. It will be moved in the future, but I guess we need to get our engineer, Nina, on EVA. Make sure she's still got her tools. Inventory, excellent. Equip. And I do wonder if maybe we should take all the science experiments out of here. Take data. Yeah, all of it. Oh man, it's so much data. So much data. And see if we can't get some of these comms. Attach and grab. Excellent. Oh wow, we can put all that stuff in our pockets? That's pretty cool. Alright. So, I guess let's just get to work then. While you're here, you can disconnect these struts that we don't need. And that seems like a good place as any to get started with our grand overhaul project of Harmonia Station. Basically, anything that's attached to this old habitat will be disposed of, as well as the old docking extender, and eventually the habitat module that's attached to, or not habitat, the resupply pod that is attached to it, which will probably be doing most of the deorbiting, with the exception, of course, of this lander here, as to which we will deposit the science from the habitation module just to make sure that I don't screw up and leave it. We're going to try to collect as much of these science experiments as we can. We'll take 2 of these RTGs with us. They're always useful to have more power generation. The 4 of them alone obviously doesn't provide enough power to run pretty much anything, but it's that extra little oomph that helps. The solar particle collector, I think, can be reset by a scientist. We just need to up and do it. And we should probably take it with us to Deimos or Phobos, whichever, just to, I don't know, make sure. But while we're over here, also, we can collect 4 of these little thrusters. Not going to serve much good, and we do have the big quads on the side, which should we need to actually reposition this thing, I think they'll do the job just fine, and it does clean up our part count a little bit. So we'll drop what we can into this crate that will be disposed of, because almost nothing in here is really worth much. We'll go ahead and mount the antenna. I would like it to point straight, but it's just a little hard to get it to mount in that way. You know, anytime the mouse moves a little bit, it basically moves your orientation for where you attach stuff, which makes things weird. But we'll also collect these top 4 thrusters. I guess we didn't actually need them. A random stray light here on the top probably wouldn't fit in a crate earlier, so we'll grab that also. We'll just drop this comms here. Not exactly happy with it existing within the ladders, so we'll deal with that. That crate is full of stuff, so we'll bring out the other crate, and this will fill it. So I think we'll collect these 2 sciencey experiment things. Maybe we'll mount these solar panels externally. They're both broken. They came up with us from Mars, but they take up a lot of space in that crate. It was actually capacity, like volume filled, not just slot filled. So now we've got some extra space, 2 open slots in there that maybe we'll find use for later. But I don't know, these science experiments might be worth taking home. I guess it's a barometer and a sea seismic accelerometer, both of which we already have on the ascent stage from our surface mission. So they're kind of duplicates, I guess, and don't really need them. But time to top off our RCS fuel, which just a quick stop off in the hab. We'll get our menu boards back out, make sure our DeWalt cordless drill is equipped. We've got 2 more RTGs down here that we can collect, as well as a goo container. Hey, that fits in our pocket. That's neat. Now I guess we are at capacity, so we'll just have to deal with just the one for right now. So we'll get ourselves a little closer to the main tank where we put the solar thing and deposit our goo sample there, and then move up to this tucked in Agena core to place these 2 other RTGs. They get welded into place quite nicely. I'm sure they're wired up as well, or yeah, something. Anyway, now it's time for the big one. We're going to move this docking port from the habitat module, and it's going to go on the end of the laboratory where we can maintain connected living space compliance. We'll just try to do this in as few jumps as possible. Hopefully we can utilize this ladder, but I'm going to move this antenna because that placement just kind of irritates me, and we'll get the node correct. So that docking port should now be connected living space compliant. So we'll also come down over here on what's, I guess, is our comms side. I just want to make sure that our new dish is not going to slam into our old one or our other new one, whichever the case may be. Yeah, anyway, so comms are done, docking port is done. We've just got a few other little things that we would like to clean up here. We'll grab this other goo container. Yeah, and it turns out that the film canister thing is attached through that probe core and that battery, and I don't know exactly how much effort I want to put into saving that film canister. I think we actually used it to take all the biomes we needed. We're going to remove this broken solar panel, thank you Boris, and then take this entire truss piece with its solar panel already attached and move it further up. We'll probably attach this to the life support supplies container. That is going to now be the end instead of the middle of our station. And well, we had to abort that time because I overextended my reach as far as where we could put the thing, but we'll run into one of our comms arrays and eventually get it placed around here somewhere. For right now, we can just stick this here on the side. It's nice having that little extension, although it would be even better if our solar panels were quite uniform. And we'll extend that panel out. We'll also move this goo container down next to the other one for, I don't know, reasons. I was thinking about weight balance, but on something quite this big that doesn't really go anywhere, I guess it doesn't matter. And I guess I never noticed how much the station was spinning. I mean, it has to be thanks to our interactions here on EVA, because there's been nothing else acting on it, but actually you can tell it's spinning here in sped up footage, whereas in the moment I only thought that, hey, maybe this is spinning, but not quite. Anyway, this is one of our larger solar panels, and it occurs to me that deploying it in this particular manner is going to make it a little more interesting docking on those two side ports attached to the lab. Maybe that's not actually something we want to do. So what we can kind of do is build an array out of these pairs of solar panels, but I would like them to not interfere with a lot of our docking or hub work. So we'll prop them out to the sides like this and give them a little more leeway. We can both get them angled entirely into the sun and keep them clear of our docking ports, which is real nice. They won't interfere with anything that way, and does free up some space and makes this truss piece actually worthwhile. So we'll assemble a similar setup on the other side. I wish we had 4 of the big solar panels instead of 3 small ones and 1 large one, because it is just looking a little bit weird. But that's going to complete our EVA tasks for this particular mission. We will probably have to come back and, I don't know, maybe revisit some of these things, add or subtract as necessary, but that is going to do it for this episode, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out. I really do appreciate it, and I will see all of you in the next one. So until then, see you later.